be very well that this was just not.
Oh, wait. No, it's working.
Hi.
Okay, now I have to get this link. Good. Okay, so Wendy, start us off, and I'm going to do all the rest of the stuff while you're doing that.
Okay, so we are actually live, correct?
Yep, we are.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for waiting and joining us again for Wednesdays with Wendy and Bree.
Hi.
Here together we are in the same room, following just an amazing, incredulous last week. And thank you all for waiting. We've had some definite software changes and lots of things that we're going to have to be addressing. So I really appreciate y'all hanging out. We're actually just still truly processing everything. It's as if we're moving in slow motion in some ways. Hi,
Yes.
Angela. Yes, we feel it's hard to explain. Everything just since we began the trip and concluded the trip and have been since just the last couple of days, have been in amazing sets of synchronicities. Hi, Dave. We have not even been able to process and articulate even everything from these last few days. And the more there's going to be lots more to share, I'm sure, in upcoming hangouts, because we're still really trying to find the words. It was just so many undeniable synchronicities as we coined this weekend that came to Bree this weekend, because it was just undeniable synchronicities.
And confirmations was the other one.
Yes, and cosmic confirmations. And we shared some of the most magical meetings with each and every one of you that attended, and the blessings and the gratitude that we received in holding each and every one of you in our arms and in our hearts and in our eyes and in our hands. It was an amazing journey. It was people activated and speaking light languages. It was miracle reunions. It was really an amazing set of circumstances and synchronicities that it will take probably who knows how long to unfold them all. And we've had, as you can see, this is one of our interesting synchronicities today. So I wanted to start off with the ship's wheel, because being on the ocean, we just had the most blessed, incredible days being on the ocean and following the event and just reviewing and re-experiencing. I can't even talk, you guys. Re-experiencing everything in the movies running over and over in our minds, and just how beautiful it was to spend time with you and with all of you and see these miracles unfolding right before our eyes in ways that Bree and I haven't been able to experience online. We had retreats at Will's Beyond Relief Retreat, which was equally, of course, as amazing.
Yeah.
Yet it was a little bit different for us because the perspective for us was a little different. And so being that we were surrounded by the ocean and ocean water, and ships were literally lined, the cruise ships were just lining the horizon. We had lovely weather and just beautiful time to spend in the sand and in the sea and with the salt water, and blessing the waters and blessing the water in our bodies. And even that whole water was the theme. Water was truly the theme.
Why don't we?
Water was the theme of the event. And I wanted to start by saying that one of the most beautiful synchronicities was that many years ago, when I began my journey with light languages, one of the things I saw in my visions was, if any of you are familiar with Jerry and Abraham Hicks, and they used to do law of attraction cruises, and there was something about that I always said, that's something I felt in some way, shape, or form I would be doing. And when we were sitting the day after the event, just really, just
that was so
the decompression. It was so beautiful, and
relax.
we had just a wonderful lunch on the water.
Oh, that was, oh my God, that crab
and
dip.
it was so good.
It was good.
It was just such a lovely day, and
fresh seafood, I tell you.
And
Nothing like it.
so Bree says, and she had told me this before, but she says, I've always really wanted to do this work in some way on cruise ships.
Yeah.
And sooner, this enormous, right out of like right near our hotel.
Yeah.
Pulled out, and it had to have been 8-10 stories high, and I did take pictures of it, and I will post the pictures on my website. And so it had just pulled out, and it was so enormous, and it was just such an emotional. Oh, do you have it? I have it on mine too, so if you don't have it, it was such an enormous, beautiful synchronicity because she had just said it. And so it was. Then when we came here to try to figure out the logistics. Oh, did you got it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great, she's got it.
Yeah, so like we were literally, I was just saying, yeah, light language tours, right? Like light language cruises, and then it was.
I mean, it was like
right
in front of us. It was so large,
and it was like
undeniable synchronicities. And now, was that the moment that phrase was born, or we were walking on the beach or something?
Hold on. It's undeniable confirmations, because the whole thing we were talking about was sometimes you have confirmations in your life. You're wondering about something, you're thinking about something, you're questioning something, you're, like, oh, can I do this? Should I do this? And something sometimes just in your face, it'll just right in your face, like, hello, yeah, like the message will be somewhere undeniable. And that's what we were talking about, is the undeniable aspect of how the universe is sometimes showing us signs that we literally cannot miss. Like even if we try to miss them, we can't. And that cruise ship for me was one of them. And I started crying because it was like an absolute, like an instantaneous, I mean, it was a matter of minutes after we were talking about doing these cruises, and then a cruise ship right in front of, right next to the beach we were at. Of course, there's cruise ships in the water. We're right on the ocean. But this was like literally, it was big,
right in front of us.
It was big,
and the fact that it was also one of the largest that I had seen since we had been there too.
Yeah.
So it really did make the whole thing, the whole incredible experience, feel larger than life. It was just, and I'm still trying to extrapolate and formulate sentences to try to describe what the heck, how it felt to meet all of you. And oh, you totally have to show that.
This was us on the beach together as we were hanging out on the beach, on the sand, and we spent all day out there. I got really sun. You can't see.
I know. I keep doing that. I keep joking and touching her arms. She's like, "Ow, don't touch."
No, not right now.
But it was, and even so, I was like, "Oh, I keep forgetting." I keep forgetting.
But you know what? That's a whole nother thing. Sunburn. Sometimes, wouldn't you say? Sometimes our body, in the ascension process, the sunlight, it does things to us that we can understand, right? So sometimes we actually need a little bit of extra light, and it's almost like it's like you try to not sunburn. I put on sunscreen, and I was sitting in the shade with sunscreen
the whole time.
On.
It was like the only time
and
you
I
were
got
actually
sunburned.
in the sun was from the hotel to the chair.
So it was like
the chair to the water,
sand reflection,
but all the beautiful reflections, and the incredible experiences were just and to see people and to transform and open themselves and in such a way. It was so,
honestly, I think we're still at the point where this is all processing within us. So I know for myself, if when I put myself back into that moment of hearing somebody singing light language for the first time in this group activation, I start to get emotional, because it's like you can hear in that moment that they are letting out the sounds of their soul for the first time in this incarnation that they've consciously or unconsciously ever been. For the first time, letting it through, like, this is supposed to be happening, instead of judging. And then people saying you don't speak gibberish or whatever. Of course, the kids who are speaking light language are told that's not real, stop saying that, And what we want to be able to do is help people even, question, well, maybe there is some legitimacy here. If children and people all over the world are doing this now, it's not something that can be brushed off as like,
Well, and interestingly so that we were having the conversation in the event that I was showing, we were discussing light codes and symbols and sacred circuitry, and one of the attendees was showing me her journal and how we had just met in person for the first time, had never really seen each other's work other than online, yet how is it possible that we can be, she and I, drawing the same, almost identical symbols?
Yeah.
It was, these are the things that were happening, one thing after another. And and just like Bree says, it's all day. Well, for the last 2 days since we've landed, it's almost as if revisiting the energy is so emotional that we're almost afraid to talk about it, because we're afraid we're just going to sit and cry here on camera. So that was kind of where we're at right now. It's like we it's like you want to go there, but you don't. But yet I can feel I can just feel the people that we were with, and and being out there at night and on the beach, mm-hmm. and it was so beautiful, and the full moon, and having delicious dinners with amazing old friends, new friends, what people we've known for years through this modality, and to sit and be together and dine and laugh and the realizations and the tears and
of course there were all these things happening while we're together, sign after sign after
sign. It was almost just
nonstop.
It was just so almost too much, but yet felt like the most natural thing ever.
When you meet soul family, you know that you feel like family. Yeah, you can be comfortable, you can be yourself, and that's what we're going for. But being around people who love you and accept you for who you are, no matter what, allows you to be in that safe space to then be able to share that with the world.
And I want
to grow more and say, okay, world, well, this is who I am. Why, thank you.
I just keep looking. I'm sorry, you guys. I keep looking at both of her necklaces because she's got the pyramid in her other necklace here. I want to say with that, when you were speaking of that I want to thank all of you. And you know who you are. Those of you who have the support and the love and the generosity and through everything, that allowing us to see through your perspective where everything that we saw didn't go the way we wanted or planned, that everything went exactly the way it was planned and needed to. And even missing our plane. That was even a whole experience in of itself, all the way to the end of the journey.
Yep.
And it was,
but it all worked out. And because we missed our plane,
someone needed their life changed, and she was the one who got to be there to do it for this woman who will never, ever, ever be the same. And she will now know how to fly because of her.
Without getting nauseous.
Without getting freaked and nauseous. And
yeah, I was like, peppermint oil. Juice.
So
Sniff some, and there's a whole.
It
There's
was
a lot
whole
more to
thing
it.
to it.
We can actually we would have to list how many people, from start to finish, from when we left to go to the event until we came home, how many people outside of the event that were not associated with the event at all ended up being exposed to or asking questions about or already knowing about light language. So for instance, right when we were having the meet and greet, this lady walks past our room with a big sign that says Power and Purpose of Light Language outside the room. And she comes in and she's like, hi, my friends speak light language and I just happened to see your sign, so I wanted to see what this event was about. And this is some random woman, and guess how she got there? They were going to take the elevator. She was with her son, and she just randomly felt like, why don't we take the stairs? Which she doesn't usually do. And that's the only reason.
And that's how she met.
So that was amazing. But her friends only speak Spanish. And we're like, we're sorry, we are not presenting this information in Spanish.
So that's just a seed we're going to plant here, guys, because I've been talking, Bree and I've been talking about, when I first found out she spoke Japanese, I said, we need to present light language in Japanese. We need to present these hangouts in other languages. And so those of you that are out there that are bilingual, let's plant that seed. Yeah. How can we get this out there to people who, such as that woman who want this information? Yeah. And again, at lunchtime, Bree talking to a Swedish couple.
Yep. So we sat next to them during lunch. We were out by the pool area, right next to the beach. And they suddenly turned over and they had heard us talking to each other. And they said, are you presenting here? Are you speakers here? And we said, yeah, we're presenting at an event. And it's called the Power and Purpose of Light Language. Well, it turns out that they've been making up their own languages with each other for a few years, and it's not a full language, but they'll make up words, and then only they know what those words mean and what they're going to do. And they went into this whole explanation. I'm like, Wendy was just presenting about how she had a secret language when she was young. Right. I had a secret language with my friend when I was young. Similar, kind of like
that's right, because we had just been talking about it in the event about my sister and I's language, and then we break for lunch and this happens.
Yeah, it's like we were discussing, you were discussing the evolution of activating ourselves in speaking light languages over our lifetime, and how sometimes children will speak light languages and then be told not to. Some of them, like we did, spoke weird other languages, and what I think it does is it helps deconstruct the logical linear
I believe
mind.
It actually did, had some light circuitry happening in my brain that was preparing me for light language. And I also took 2 years of Spanish, which I'm sorry, I do not speak any of, even after the 2 years, because it was high school English. And Spanish, it was really not applicable in the day-to-day of my day-to-day life. And so, but the point is, I really believe that was part of my journey to get that synapses going in my mind, to begin in that idea of speaking and allowing other languages to flow through me, I think.
Right. I think so too. And even with Japanese, for me, I would sing. I was into Japanese music since I was, 13 years old. That's primarily all I was listening to for my whole adolescence. And I would sing along to the Japanese songs, but not know what the words really were. So it's like I was very poorly speaking very poor Japanese. And I know for a fact now, I have no way of proving this, but I just know some of that was me channeling light language back then, just trying to sing to this song, and not knowing the real Japanese words. So it's cool how you can go back and kind of piece the puzzle together. That's what we're all doing. Right?
And she actually sang light languages to this woman on the plane.
Oh my God. As we were descending, she's like, taking off and coming down to the worst part. And she spends her whole time on the plane, and she's like, I haven't had to use a barf bag once. She had the peppermint oil. I let her smell. And then I was talking to her the whole time, so her mind was engaged. She wasn't focused on how horrible she was feeling. She was in an interactive conversation, which can help us when we're not focused on what the problem is, right? focus on the solution, focus on how do you want to feel. So going with anything. So God, I could tell it was an incredible conversation. I hope that sometime she can actually come on here and
hang out and talk with us
and join.
And this is the first opportunity she and I have gotten to get out in the world, hand out business cards, talk about light language, actually talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
And even when we were, I wanted to, before I go to the next thing, but about the other, okay, first of all, even synchronistically, she wouldn't have had the peppermint if you wouldn't have had a headache when she was here. And I said, she said, do you have any peppermint oil? And I gave her a bottle. You wouldn't have even had the peppermint oil for her. It was almost as if, of course,
we designed it that way
because she somehow, all of our higher selves were hanging out going, oh, hey, don't forget the peppermint oil.
Mm-hmm. And there are so many threads like that I can trace back to. I see why things went awry. I wouldn't have met that lady if we wouldn't have missed our plane.
Exactly.
And that lady, the doors kept opening. She speaks Somali. And I was asking her, what is that language and everything? And she's spiritual. And by the end, I'm like, well, I can, speak some light language blessings and help with the descending of the plane. And she was fine. She didn't get sick. She sat there. She was like, that was so pleasant and calming. And I feel so amazing. She said you've changed
her life.
So it's one example of many of
and we were checking out.
Focus.
We were checking out of the hotel, and before we had even booked the hotel and stuff, I had seen a picture of this little guy in a photo, and I had just kind of mentally put it out there that, oh yeah, I want to make sure I get one of these, and I had completely forgotten about it the entire trip. We're checking out, getting ready to head to the airport. And Bree and I both see the turtle right behind the woman at the checkout counter.
We saw it at the same time.
We both went, boom. It was, and I said, oh my God, yes, I wanted to buy one of those. And she said, that's the last one in the hotel. She said, oh no, she said, wasn't there one in your room? And I said, no, because they put them in your room to see if you want to purchase them. She says, we run out of them so fast because everyone buys them. She says, that's the only one left. She said, let me go see if it's taken already. It was not. She said, would you like to buy it? Absolutely, of course. So the very last thing I walked out with was this turtle. And it happened to be turtle season. And we were out on the beach in the moonlight under the full moon, blessing the turtle eggs in light languages. I had to have a turtle.
It was so beautiful.
So I manifested that.
It was so beautiful.
And then
the last turtle.
So then we're getting ready to go, and Bree's like, oh my God, my phone's shutting off again, but we got to call an Uber to go to the airport. Her phone won't work, so we're hanging out, leaving to say goodbye with Will. He says, oh, no problem, I'll call the Uber. If that hadn't happened, we wouldn't have had that particular Uber driver.
You're right.
So
you're right. That's right? No, hold on. My phone. This is crazy,
her
guys.
Phone.
Now, as a techie, right, I pay attention a lot to what's going on with my technical devices. I've never seen this happen. I opened up the Uber app, and it opened normally, and all of a sudden, a whole screen went over, and it just said, an unknown error has occurred. And that's all it would say over and over. An unknown error has occurred. And I'm thinking, I've never had this problem with Uber. What the heck's going on? I couldn't fix it no matter what. I had to uninstall the app. Meanwhile, we need to get to the airport because
we had to go.
We had a plane. So I tell Will, he's standing, we're saying goodbye. I'm like, Will, if you're going to the airport anyway, why don't we just take an Uber with you? And it was taking him a while. He was talking. Will, we need to get the Uber now. We have to go to the airport now. Please, let's do it right now.
Timing.
So he ordered. He's like, "Oh, it'll be right outside." He orders it. The guy who they are speaking in light languages when we're in the car. The guy suddenly says,
what language is that?
Then Will explains a little bit
light
about
language,
it,
and then he starts talking about his mother having a spiritual experience.
He could be watching right now.
Hi.
He got your business card,
So hello to all of you out there. If you're watching and you met us and you met us at the hotel or anywhere connected to this event.
Yeah.
You know what? My ears are still popping from the plane. I swear to you guys, my ears are still like, I still like can't
travel
function.
Flying does not even
I'm not
me
even
anymore.
Functioning on all pistons. So please excuse me.
Excuse both of us.
We're just like spent and tired and
and this morning did not go as we thought it would, but we're here.
But we're here. It was like, well, do we not? Do we not? So do we do it? Do we not? I felt, but I really wanted to just say hi to everybody and thank everybody, and just, you know, you guys just made everything magical. It was every single thing and every single person that we just met, and this is going to be, I see this tesseract unfolding and unfolding and unfolding and unfolding because of this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I really do. The people I thought about, I heard in my and I shared this with Bree. I said, my guide said to me, imagine how many people who've never even seen the two words together, light language, walking into this amazing, enormous resort, looking at the sign as soon as they walk in the door, and it said, power and purpose of light language, Lido A. I said, we're in the Lido. She says, what's Lido? I said, the Lido deck on a ship. The ship. She's like, oh, I didn't realize that's what Lido meant. I said, yes, it's a deck on the ship. So that was when we very first walked in, the first synchronicity about ships.
Lido.
Yes.
I didn't know what Lido was.
As soon as we walked in the door as soon as we walk in the doors, there's the sign for our event. And well, I can't even tell you all the other weird emotions that went with that, guys. Oh my God. To see it was just.
Yeah, because I didn't know what Lido meant. And then she said, oh, it's the deck of a ship. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we had some water stuff happen with the event. And you were talking about the deck of a ship. Yeah, I saw that. That's funny, Dave.
And so then the whole thing with the ship. And then when we're figuring out where Bree and I are going to sit to hang out so we can sit together, because we can't fit in that space I normally do hangouts. It's a little tight. She gets to see my real world.
It's very small.
It's very tiny.
It's a very small area.
So she's like, oh, wow. I said, yeah. So it was funny because then we saw the ship's wheel.
Yeah. Which ship's wheel, cruise ship,
ocean. It was just so, yeah.
Your steering, your destiny.
Yes, we really were driving the ship. It was an incredible that set of, it was almost as if I could see all the threads. And when my guide showed me that day how many people looked at that sign and just planted the seeds, even if they had no idea what they were reading or they just happened to walk by.
Started Googling it. What's light language?
And I said to her, I told Bree, I said, I can't remember, I think it was when we were walking to head up to leave. And I said, I just heard that the number of Googles of light language of searches on light language is enormous. It was huge that day, like more than it felt as if it was, but for me, it felt as like I felt the energy along with the words, like I could feel that again, the tesseract, because then those are the cubes that are the cubes that are the cubes that are going to, and so the whole thing was just so incredibly, it was almost as if I could begin to actually see the threads of how all of these things are connected. And then the things that were shared during the event about others and how they were so relieved that we were sharing this stuff, because then I'm not crazy. Oh my God, I'm not crazy. This is the things that are going to continue to unfold for a very, very long time. And I feel very grateful and blessed and graced and honored
it's so
to-
it's so honoring and humbling, and
Mhm.
to see that we were able to bring people together, people who needed to meet each other, people who needed to have conversations, people who needed to share codes, not only with their energy fields coming into the same room and then having those activations happening on a multidimensional level, but also some people were writing codes and sharing them with each other, and it was like it was life-changing. There's there's a lot of stuff to say about people coming together in the physical to have a gathering, and with the same intention. It creates a field that I don't think we can
Completely
even
explain.
understand.
Well, you guys know what
how-
it's like when when people gather, whether it's choir or concerts or religious gatherings. It's about the vibration of everyone together. That's why we congregate together, because we want to share that energy. And so I think it doesn't matter in what way, but yet when it's how do I explain it? Like, say you go to a concert and all these people like the same group, but what we're experiencing is other people who are having, how do I say it? Not a smaller experience, but
intimate.
Yes, like less masses. There's less of the people who are interested in doing what we do. So therefore, when we do connect with them, it feels even more powerful than even going to a concert, for example, which is interesting because you just went to a Japanese concert the night before she drove here.
Yeah, I went to see Miyavi in Chicago.
And so the power of the energy of being together, even at that concert or any concert.
It's like when you gather people together and you all have the same intention, it is intense. The intention is intense.
And again, we
multiplied.
We forget, we spend so much time on all of us who are going through who are aware of our awakening process in the way that all of us are, and those of you watching, and sometimes we spend so much time wanting to be up here and realizing that the work we came to do, we have still got to crystallize in physical reality.
Yeah, we're here to anchor it.
And when we walk into a room and hug somebody for the very first time that we've met like this, I don't know. I don't know if there's any words in any language. Except for probably light language. Liano o sotosime ikiaso liushononiani ila kasomosoto shishiana kolakora. Ni inakila usomosoto sumorshorsiana kila kisoma. Amate liana malakatoriana ila koshonosolu koshama I omokosase. Se moshona I bakishana somiana italikisa imashato uma ilakomra. I don't think I've ever really shared my really heart and my soul in quite that exact way as this experience.
In the IST so questions.
I feel like I'm sure you guys can sense it. I feel like she and I are just sort of floating on the water, like we're talking real slow.
Yeah, feeling a little bit weird over here.
Floaty over here, guys.
A little bit weird because I'll tell you, there were multiple times during the event where I literally felt like I was floating away. I've never had that sensation before. I've heard people talk about it like, oh, I feel like I'm floating. But I actually felt like if I suddenly grew wings, I would fly. So that I'm seeing how that's like heightened dimensions.
It's like I want to post like a photo, or it's like I can't even come up with an articulation to say like anything. I like to go to type something like, oh yeah, that's not working today. That's not working today.
This thing in here needs a little break. Needs a break.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks to Bree, we figured, well, even if we can't hang out with you guys today, we were like, okay, well, worst case scenario for today, we're just going to live stream, so at least, and just broadcast, so at least we can share the energy together while we're here. Because also, the next synchronicity that I discovered this morning is that today being 8/21, well, just the 8/21 equals 11. And my birth path number is 1111. We are the building we were in at the hotel. The one side we took a photo of was 1101.
That was the hotel building we stayed in, but there were like three
buildings.
or
So that was
four.
111. My address here at my house is 111. My birth path number is 11. Hers is 1. So we were like, no. She's like, she's like, no, we need to go on today on our 11th Wednesdays with Wendy.
Yeah.
It's our 11th broadcast today. So we're like, how could we ignore all of those synchronicities?
Exactly.
And at least just not broadcast instead of saying just not doing it at all.
Yeah.
So
we decided
to
come on. And is this Cinia?
Cinia!
Oops.
Hi, girl.
So we have Dave and Zinnia.
Hi, guys.
And Angela was watching.
And so Angela was watching.
So
Maria sent her love. We got to meet Dave and AJ. I love you guys so much.
You guys are amazing.
Zinnia, darling.
Oh,
love you, girl.
We are lucky.
You guys are awesome. And I'm telling you, even that, just your love and support when we meet you guys for the first time and you tell us how much, I've been watching you. I can't believe you guys are here in person. And you know what? We feel the same way about you guys. Believe me, it's no different.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it isn't. We're like equally excited to meet everybody, so it was really amazing.
So worth it.
Really worth it. I la situazione isa do kia pa ukosha na selikisho ma ila likusa sete abayasha na telekia morsha tekia isa. It's really hard to imagine too, as I was being reminded as we were sitting on the beach, that every day, well, not every day, but every day I remind myself that we are new every moment, that everything is a new parallel reality, moment by moment by moment by moment, and we get to choose based upon the frequency we decide how something's going to happen. And your perspective of it. And we learned a lot this weekend about perfection and acceptance and perseverance, and just and it was there was so many layers to all of this that we're again going to be unwinding and unfolding the threads and yet again, every single moment when we can see every single one of those moments as absolutely perfect as they needed to be, I tell you guys, that is the epitome of the compass of our own growth and strength, is when you can experience something and see it through a completely new set of eyes and react in a completely new way, which creates the new reality we prefer. And that, I believe, has been a huge experience for, I know, myself, and even today, even getting this broadcast going and everything, every bit of it has been about that. What reality do we want? What reality do we desire? What vibration do we want to be in right now? And that was huge for us in so many ways, and especially today, and accepting. And I wanted to say that too, that like Bree said earlier, accepting each other for the way that we are, and meeting people that you've never met before, and only meeting this way, and accepting each other for exactly the way that we are, no matter what the circumstances, and seeing the beauty and the light and the love in each and every individual, no matter what was going on at any time ever in our lives, ever, not just now, today, ever. I'm talking ever. When we can begin to see that, then we know we have shifted to a new way, a new perspective, that we have actually applied this information, these light languages, this higher information, and allowed the tide to turn, pun intended, allow the tide to turn in the direction we wish to go. And my home and this home, my homes have always had ship's wheels and boats and water symbols and compasses and lighthouses and the sun and the sea and the water and the mountains, all reminding me of staying true to me, and I will always be in the right direction, no matter what. Just be you, be who you are, and accept that. And
Life will become a lot easier
exactly.
when you're like, okay, it's who I am.
I mean, we get mad at ourselves for everything.
Yeah.
And beat ourselves up about everything. And when something doesn't go according to plan, somehow there's a mistake in our manifestation. And when we begin to see that there is no such thing as a mistake, and just like Abraham says, you never get it done and you can never get it wrong. So, or maybe the other way around, but I'm tired.
Something like that.
But yeah, we've actually slept really well. The last two nights have been like, just and enjoying now this new scenery, and she gets to experience now my world in a way that she hasn't. So even that now is beginning to be a whole new experience. And so to be able to do that too, having even hung out with her since I moved online, having never you've been able to see my world and my environment, and
it's very cute here. She has a really cute house. It's small,
but out here
definitely
it's just
small.
Well, for now it's small. Pretty soon it's going to be a lot bigger.
Yeah,
well, not a lot bigger, but I mean,
I'm laughing about
the space that we have to live in right now. Yeah, the tiny person desk.
A lot of funny things.
The little person desk.
Well, we didn't have the.
Never mind.
It
doesn't matter.
It's so funny. I'm always laughing. I'm always laughing when I'm over here. That's for sure.
She got to see all the stuff that I have behind me in the videos all up close.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, wow.
It's a small area.
That is a small area.
Yeah.
But I'm a little fairy.
Little elf.
Oh my God. And then the clouds and the elf anyway. Yes.
We have some new people on here.
Hi, you guys. If you haven't been here before, thanks for coming. I'm Wendy from Languages of Lights. This is Bree. Do you have a divine other name that you'd like to add to that?
Brianna Lynn.
Brianna Lynn.
That's my name.
That's her name. And
it's
my
pretty
name.
divine.
And funny thing is my name's Wendy Lynn too. So we have the same middle name.
I tell you. Like.
And we're also both double fired. I'm Sag and
hey, it's Alicia.
Hi, girl. Hey,
hi,
girl.
Alicia.
Hey.
Zinnia said, "Big kiss to you both. That was so awesome. I felt I met my soul tribe."
Woo!
We thought so too, Zinnia.
We thought so too. Yep.
Thank you.
It was really amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, and I thought that was funny, Dave, that you had the same error as soon as we were talking.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. If you saw that, did you see?
Yeah,
that's
pretty
really
funny.
weird.
The same error. So I also like Michelle Faucher. Her YouTube name is Shell Time.
And this is another thing, you guys.
Shell Time. So
the whole thing about shell and coming out of your shell, if you're new to my channel, I even have a video. Oh shoot, I always forget the actual title, but it's a languages of lights. The song, the symphony. Oh gosh, I can't even remember the title of my own stuff, you guys. How bad is that? Anyway, there's a photo, a thumbnail It's a song that I collaborated with Miguel Mendoza.
Oh, yes. On
And
SoundCloud. You can
on
find
SoundCloud,
it on
it's on
Languages
my
of Light's SoundCloud.
Thank you, my marketer. And so I forget. I took a photo many years ago. I sat and had an experience. It was an actual experience with a turtle in my yard. And I laid, and Dave will appreciate this as a photographer. I literally laid on the ground with this turtle for hours, not years. Well, you never know. You never know. Gosh, if there's no time, maybe I just answered my own question. Maybe I did lay with that dude for years.
Wendy, you are so funny.
Oh my God.
I tell you. This lady. There's a funny lady here. We got a really funny lady here. Laying with turtles for years.
And by the way, you guys, the other synchronicity is we actually have an enormous ancient turtle right here in our
oh my God.
In our bay here. But
like that you said was like over 6 feet big.
I mean,
long.
the shell itself was like 6 feet across. But so I sat with this turtle and I took photographs, and it was one of my relatively good Canon cameras, and I had the most beautiful experience. And I waited for that turtle to finally get its head out, to poke its head out and come out of its shell for me to take photos of it. And I sat and talked to it and waited, and it finally did. And I entitled that "Come Out of Your Shell." I entitled it back then. I was one of the very first photos I ever posted on Google Plus ever. I mean, ever. And because it was so symbolic for me, because I was coming out of my shell for the very first time. And this was long before, I don't even think I had even started speaking light languages yet.
Wendy, speaking of coming out of your shell, guess what shell time Michelle Faucher said? I hope I'm saying your name correctly. She said, Wendy, I've been watching you since last year, off and on, and you inspired me to be bold and sing on YouTube and feel confident and feel confident that I know.
Oh my God. Well,
shell time.
May we use that as a testimonial on my my website?
You're talking about coming out of your shell and your turtle
And
photo, and we have shell time. So thank you.
So
Michelle.
The very first time that Miguel, the first time Miguel approached that we did that song together, and it was the very first light language audio track I ever did, where I collaborated with someone and he took my photos and made a video, kind of a slideshow out of it, and he added music to it. And it was the first time I had ever done anything like that. So I felt it was appropriate that I put the turtle on the front, because it was really me coming out of my shell in a way I never had. And this weekend was, again, both of us doing light languages in a public setting. And the weirdest thing, you guys, is this is the first time I've ever felt so completely comfortable, not just at the event and talking. I'm talking about even speaking it in public and talking about it, and
just like this.
It was just blah, blah, blah. It felt so easy. Natural. What used to feel so mysterious, and maybe I shouldn't do that.
I won't do it. I'm gonna faint on stage, and all those fears and worries. It's like, I tell you, making videos helps.
It does. It helps a lot. And doing this helps a lot. Doing hangouts. I have spoken in public before, but it was never, ever something I liked or enjoyed or ever felt comfortable. I was actually petrified. So this, being that it felt so natural and so easy, I really did feel like both of us were coming out of our shell in ways, both of us, that we had never had. So the symbology and the synchronicity, of course, of the turtle eggs and the mothers and laying new eggs. And so I was guided that night and there's a woman walking back and forth on the beach, and she's monitoring and taking notes of all of the egg, what do you call that? Nests. Thank you. The nests of the turtle eggs, and they monitor them and watch them and make notes. And I was so inspired to bless all the eggs. And they said to me, every turtle now that goes back out into the sea will carry, how did they say it? Will carry me with them and the light languages and the blessings out to the sea, and they will then carry it like sonar that will carry it out to the sea. And it was such a magical moment for me. And so I can't, again, all the synchro, even with the turtles, and me even seeing a stone turtle at Lowe's the other day, and I didn't buy it, but and I want that stone turtle. And then me telling Bria the story about here in our bay when it flooded so high that our neighbor had to go retrieve our deck that floated up and off its moors, and he saw an enormous, beautiful, ancient turtle, and he said, "I'm telling you," he said, the shell was it was 6 feet across. He's never seen, and so I can only imagine how old,
very old,
it must be to
very,
be.
very, very,
and I don't
very
know
old.
anything about turtles in that way, as far as the size and age and that sort of thing. But it was just and then here now we have shell, and then when I found Jim Charles from Human Colony, and he started channeling shell from the Shikani, the Sasani, that was it, you guys. I about flipped, and that was years ago when I found that was one of the first videos I ever found was him channeling shell from the Shikani shell. And we live here where there's many, many eagles, of which Bree got to see.
Oh my God! Right when I got here, it's like
She
eagle
got to see
welcoming
eagle,
party.
a whole eagle.
Thanks.
And-
It was
and-
amazing.
And the eagles dine on turtles, and so
do they?
oh yes, and so you'll see turtle
Wow.
shells all over the place
Wow.
because of
I
the
did not know
eagles.
that.
So that's a whole nother thing. Is I had a turtle shell for years and years and years, long before I found any of this, and I've been collecting seashells for probably 30 years. So shell. You will find seashells all over my house. They're everywhere, in every room. So, and then the connection to the water and Sirius and all of it.
Speaking of the water,
Atlantis, the skulls, being under the water. Every single one of these is a part of these threads.
There's
The
a lot.
dolphin. And then what do we do? Then what do you do? Was it the last day we leave? And you're like, oh, she wore her dolphin leggings.
There were whales.
Whales, excuse me. I'm
There
sorry.
were whales.
But the whale is the oversoul of the dolphin.
The library for the planet. For
So
planet Earth? Library of frequencies. Is that right? Library of frequencies.
that's a good way to put it. If it isn't, it should be.
I can't remember the description I heard. That's a problem. There's a lot of information.
Oh, Shell says, yes, I know. I've seen you talk about them very much.
That's really cool. And so.
And I got my WW cup on, so I got Wendy and water.
Wendy's always by water. We had a few questions here.
Sure.
So, yeah, thanks for sharing that, Michelle. That's very sweet.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions about anything, or whatever, let us know.
So Angela said, "That's all your work paying off, Wendy. You did awesome. All of you did. It's not an easy subject."
It was amazing. And I'm telling you,
So thank you, Angela.
everyone had just amazing contributions. Everyone, every single person,
even energetically, even people just
being there
being
and
like,
watching
"Oh,
and
I'm looking
live
forward to hearing how
streaming
that's gonna."
and all you guys even commenting and saying, "Hey, I can't wait till you get back to hear about it. I can't wait." Every single bit of it is part of this beautiful symphony. It's just it's amazing.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, we have more to share about,
just so many of the
there's a lot
circumstances.
There's a lot that happens.
Just so much stuff. It's like
yeah. So I'm sure as time goes on, we will share more, and we will have more
lots
things
and
to
lots
say.
of stuff about that. But but aside from the event itself, there was just so many. I mean, not the people and the things that happened while we were there and how their lives changed. I think that is something that we have still yet to really fully comprehend. I mean, and I'm talking about even those of you who have literally come up to us and said, my life is, our lives have changed. The people that shared that during the event, my life has changed because of you guys. My life has changed. So, and it's not just about us changing those lives. It's about what are they going to do now with that information? How is this going to change their lives? And now they approach others, and now how that's going to change lives. Right. Even if none of them ever utter a word of light language, it doesn't matter. It's
because if people are supposed to, then they will.
They will. And people started speaking right then and there. A gentleman got activated and started speaking the next morning. It was really just an incredible thing. It truly was. And I don't know. It's like we're almost like, okay,
there's a
what
lot.
else?
There's a lot. There's a lot more. But well, we did have a question here in the live chat.
But I was going to say, is there?
Maria just said your work is great. There's a great need for people to start opening up to their own light power. The tribe is expanding. Wonderful. That's the reason why everything is so natural. We're ready. And she put a little turtle.
Exactly. And I know you guys are ready, and because you wouldn't be here with us. It's this is a joint effort. This is a community effort. It is a family effort. And it doesn't matter where we are on our paths. It really doesn't matter where any of us are. We're all in these different places, but yet the fact is, you guys, it is not frequently possible for us to not be together, because it's just not possible. So even though we consider, okay, how am I trying to explain this? Like you guys, okay, maybe watching this and watching us, and maybe you guys do or don't speak light language, whatever. Some people look at us like we're in a different place in our ascension process, like that maybe some people, I wish I were where you were. That's what I'm saying. Don't do that.
Don't.
And because
it's supposed to be
because the thing is, right, what we don't understand is, though, you already are.
Yeah,
or you couldn't be in this room.
Don't do that to
you
yourself.
You already are. Or you couldn't even have this conversation.
Yeah.
We could not have any of this conversations if every single one of us who ever viewed this video, it's not possible. It's not physically possible for us to experience something that in some way serves us in some way. It just isn't.
Like, I was there for a long time. The whole, they're a healer, but I'm not. They can do that stuff, but I'm not. And when you reinforce that with yourself, but I'm not, but I can't, you will experience that until you choose to say, I can. I'm working on it. I know I will find the answers. I know I will find a way. That's my highest excitement. That's my passion. I'm moving towards it. It's a slight change, and we think it's the same thing. We think I can't do that, but I want to is the same thing as I'm working on improving that. But they are very different energetic set points. This is the timeline in reality where you're moving in that direction, and this is the word by saying I can't do that. I don't know how. I can't do that. I don't know how. I'll never know how. I'll never find a way.
Yep.
That timeline is just sending you're moving yourself in that direction.
Well, it's kind of like, don't we easily
with anything?
We easily say, we practice with this stuff like with parking spaces.
Yeah.
Right. So
manifesting an empty parking space.
Let's just use this as a really quick example.
Yeah.
I have people in my life, or not in my life, but that I've heard. Okay, so somebody will say, I always say, I hope I get a space in front. I hope I get a space in front. Now, I have heard people say something to the effect of, and this may be just an example. I hope I don't have to park far away like I always do. What do we want? Why would we say to the universe, because that's all the universe hears, I want the space all the way in the back so I can reconfirm that I always get the space all the way in back.
The word don't.
You're still saying what we want. How many times do we say, I'm going on a picnic. I hope it doesn't rain. I'm going on a picnic. I hope it's a really beautiful day. The storms, how we push the storms away.
Oh my God, Wendy.
The storm. We didn't even talk about the storm synchronicity.
Okay.
That was before she even got here.
All right. So when I was leaving to drive over 9 hours to come to Wendy's house, I did not look at the weather. I didn't check the weather. Usually I do, but I didn't check the weather. When I get here, and it was fine, beautiful sunny sky, beautiful driving day, perfect weather. I got here and Wendy said, wow, I'm really glad the storms didn't come through because I saw storms on the radar and I was asking the Cloud Collective to push them away. Yes. Right. And so speaking, right, because if that's, you're setting yourself up for the reality you're going to experience, right? So you're like, well, it's going to be nice weather when Bree gets here. It's going to be a nice night.
And it was, you guys, it was ungodly hot here. I mean, the heat index the day before she arrived was 112. And I said, please bring a little cooler weather for Bree for sleeping so that it was more comfortable because there's no air conditioning downstairs. And she said,
and so I got here. It was perfect driving weather. It was amazing.
Not a drop.
Those storms didn't happen. Then as we're boarding the plane, we didn't check the weather.
Not at all.
Plane.
And then I tried.
Says,
same thing. I couldn't get my phone to work. I had no service.
Funny.
I tried to
right?
check the radar, and all of a sudden I was like, I can't.
Sometimes technical issues are actually working in your favor because it could set you up with a belief system you don't need.
And she says to me, is that what you want to look at? Or something like that.
Well, we get on the plane, and immediately the pilot is saying there's terrible storms in the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area.
That's right.
There's storms stretching the entire state. And so it's going to be a rocky ride. I mean, he's just like, it's bad. And my reaction was like, yeah, no, there's no storms.
Not going to happen.
I just kept like, I didn't sink into it. I wasn't like, oh, no. It was like, no, not happening.
I saw the ride. I envisioned the perfect pilot and the perfect plane and the perfect weather and the perfect landing. And I just said, and I did that like days before we even left. I was like,
and it's like, okay, what do you want it to like? Imagine, okay, nice flight, smooth flight, nice pretty clouds. We got nice weather, nice, right? So it's like building, visualizing, because imagination is not just what we think it is. It's actually higher dimensional consciousness, right? So you're literally creating that with your imagination, that reality. And so, no storms when we flew in. Not only were there no storms, the entire area didn't get wet whatsoever.
Not at all.
It wasn't wet outside. So that we were like, holy cow, after all the doom that they were saying.
And they said, the pilot said, the storms are covering the entire state of Florida.
So I knew we shifted into a reality in which it was not raining in Florida. By the time we got there, I just knew it. I felt it. It was like, this is a different reality. It's not raining here. There's not storms all over the whole state.
Sorry.
Then we, on our flight home, same sort of thing. It was supposed to rain. We were checking the weather.
That's when my phone didn't work. And then Bree says to me, well, do you really want to, she said, do you really want to support that reality? That's what she said to me, and my phone wouldn't even let me check the radar. I said, you know what? You're right. I'm not even going to look at it. I said, because that's not what I want.
And so, again, we're like, our flight's going to be fine. It's going to, there's not going to be any storms or anything. And that's what happened.
It was.
Now, explaining like all of because with all of this stuff, when you say, well, technically, how is it possible for the storm clouds, if one person saw them over the state, how could they not have been you don't have to go into all of that because it's only your reality that you're experiencing, in this case collectively, me and you, right? But it was really cool. It was really, 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 really cool. It was more undeniable
confirmations.
More of them.
I'm going to take this moment, right this very minute, to explain to you guys a synchronicity that's happening, unfolding right before my eyes.
Yeah, I see that.
and now she knows exactly what I'm going to say because she knows exactly what just happened, because I told her this morning something I wanted to share with you guys today. And I gave it to her and I said to her, I have a gift for you from Michelle Kidd, who happens to be in the chat right now.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. When Michelle sent this to me, she sent 2 more copies. And she said, one is for Bree and one is for Alicia.
And look who's here.
And she
Alicia.
sent them to me. And so these are cards that Michelle Kidd makes. And look in the center, you guys, there's a white feather. Now I know the cellophane's still on here, so I didn't, and I do have the original, but I didn't want to touch it too much because she has her own personal writing on it. So, and I can take it out of the plastic, but I couldn't believe all of the synchronicities, the hand, it just, even the beauty, and it looks like sand and rock and a footstep, and these are just so beautiful. And she wrote something on the back. Now, Michelle, would you please, I just want to make sure this is accurate. Did you write this yourself, or is this someone else's, or I believe this is yours? I just wanted to correct. I want to make sure when I shared it, because, and I wanted to know, is it okay if I read it out loud? So if you don't mind answering. So I can't believe that she jumped in, and I just told Bree, and then Alicia, I asked Bree, I told Bree, I said, there was something that kept telling me, Alicia, not to mail it to you. Don't mail it. Don't mail it. Wait. And then Bree, we had this event, and Bree happened to be coming to my house. And she said, oh, wait, I want to hang out with Alicia in person. I will deliver it in person.
Yeah, for sure.
So now,
for sure,
Michelle touched it. I touched it.
Yeah.
Bree's touching it. And now Alicia gets, because each of us have a different one, but we've each touched them all. So
it's so cool.
That I just wanted. So what'd she say? Yes, I wrote it myself. Sandra Walters Sedona event, and yes, please read it.
You went to Sandra Walters' event in Sedona?
Oh my God!
She wrote it for the event. That's amazing, Michelle.
Wow.
How was the event? Was it a whole weekend thing? I know she does the Sunday meditation. Sandra Walter, I think, right? She does Sunday meditations every Sunday, and she has incredible information, so I can only imagine how cool that event was.
And how many white feathers did we find this weekend?
Oh,
lots.
Oh, a whole bunch.
And we were gifted white feathers. We were gifted feathers from the people that we were with and those that we found on the ground.
The people that I met this weekend.
I can't talk about it, you guys, because I'm just going to cry, so I just can't today. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
I can't. Even now, I'm gonna cry now.
It's a lot.
I can't.
It's a lot. Let's just say we're very thankful and grateful for all of you, and even for people who are watching and supporting, even for people who don't comment. I used to never comment. I was too scared to comment. That's okay.
It's okay, because we know
that you're watching,
we know you're here. We can feel you. We can feel your heartbeats.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah.
Because we're all in this together, right? So by supporting people that are doing work that we really like, or doing work that we want to be doing, you're moving yourself forward in that direction, right? Or you're adding energy into that direction of reality. So even just watching people is supporting them, listening to their perspective. It is. So thanks, guys.
That was, I just can't even. Yeah.
A lot.
And then I saw the white feather in the center here this morning again. And I remembered that as I was grocery shopping a couple of days before Bree came, I walked up to the bin and of little tie beanie baby things. And you guys, this is the very first time I've ever seen a white swan. And if any of you know, or have been with me for a little while, and if you don't, the white feather is the white swan feather specifically, but the white feather has been a symbol for us, for all of us, really, right? We've always used it for like angels and and birds and symbols from source. And I was given that white feather as a symbol from source, as all of us recreate this white magic here on earth. And the white swan feather became the symbol for that. And Will and I did a white magic class, and the white feather that was the symbol for that entire, and that's what my guide said to me. The white feather is the symbol for all of you of this white magic, meaning remember how pure and magical you really are. And the fact that all of this is coming again today, and it's a symbol of water as well, and the white swan and the white swan feather. And this is Gracie. And so most of you know, I say in grace and gratitude, like I always have. It just happened like the first time I started doing these. But so this is Gracie. So I want to say hi to Gracie, just in case you are watching or do get to watch. Hi, Gracie. Another synchronicity. Once I was an ugly duckling, afraid to show my face. Now I am Snow White Swan. Now I am a Snow White Swan, beautiful and full of grace. My birthday is March 30th, and that's 33, Bree. 3 and 3. We have seen more 33s
and 12s, which is 3.
And our room number equaled 12, and we were on the 12th floor, which equaled 3. So that was 3, 3, and 3. And now this, and the number 3 is it's the trinary, it's the Trinity. And 1 and 1 makes something brand new. And so all of that was so beautifully symbolic. And we have swans here in the bay once in a while. And so all of this was so beautiful. And so I wanted to really share that with you too. So we have both of our, and swans, I believe, right? They're on land and water, correct? Mm-hmm. Just like turtles. So sea and water.
Yep.
And water was a really huge part of our entire this weekend, which we'll share with you another time. And so it was just amazing how all even the water itself became almost the symbol, and really this serious symbol, and so many other things that we associate with water, and the crystal skulls now, and pyramids under the water, and talking to the water in our body, which is how that kind of whole thing got manifested. And so all of these things are beautiful synchronicities. So yeah. Let's see. I was just looking to see what you guys were writing.
Lots of stuff has been happening.
Okay.
People are coming in. We have 18 people watching.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thanks for joining if you weren't with us sooner. Hi,
so Angela was asking you to read that.
Okay.
The wake up. So this is on the back of Michelle Kidd's card.
So here's the front
that she sent us.
And it's got several different images. And if it's okay with you, Michelle, maybe you could either I can take a photo and post it on my somewhere. If you want to send something to me to post, if that's fine, that would be that, so everyone can see it really so much better than this, and I didn't want to take the plastic off because I didn't want to touch it. Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Wake up, it's a beautiful day. Wake up to our beautiful Gaia. Wake up, another divine day is dawning. Wake up and smell the roses. Wake up and see the sun. Wake up and feel the waters. Wake up and hear the wind. Wake up to all that is. Wake up, it's a beautiful day. Wake up, new earth is dawning. Wake up, another divine day in paradise. Wake up and celebrate Gaia. Wake up and celebrate the divine in all things. Wake up and celebrate Gaia's divine perfection. Wake up and celebrate all that is. Wake up, it's a beautiful day. Wake up to all that is. Wake up and welcome our galactic cousins. Come join us, sacred brothers and sisters, as we celebrate all that is. Come be with us, sacred cousins, as we celebrate all that we are. Come be with us. Come talk with us. Come walk with us. Come journey with us. Come join us as we celebrate all that we are. We welcome you, sacred ones. Come be with us in each sacred moment. Come celebrate all that we are. Come let us celebrate all that you are. All I, we, us are. All we can be. Come be with us as we remember all that we are. Come be with us in all precious present moments. Come be with us as we wake up to all that we are. Come be with us as we wake up to unity. Come be with us as we wake up to love. Come be with us as we wake up to oneness, one people, one multiverse, one beingness, one. Come be with I, we, us. Come, 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 come. Oh, girl.
Thank you, Michelle.
I almost couldn't get through that, dude.
Thank you so much for
Oh
sending
my God, that was
us.
so perfect.
Yeah. That was a really beautiful poem. And what Michelle just said was, it was the High Vibe event that she wrote that for, Sandra Walter's event in Sedona. The High Vibe event, I guess it was called. And she invited people to send in artwork. The picture was from a 2004 artwork called Gap, The Spaces in Between. I wrote the poem for the event, inspiration from the master. She said, inspired by my membership of Lisa Transcendence Brown's Mastery School, which I've been looking into also. I mean, I have. I'm saying that. Yes, post it, please, so as many people can be activated by it as possible. It's light encoded to be a super program busting work. So, program busting. So, the light. So, what you mean is the light codes.
Yes.
Assist in
the busting of the programming that we want to deprogram within ourselves.
The constricting programming to be free.
I have to say
to be free.
that
was so beautiful.
I mean, it was so perfect for everything that we are just trying to express today. And this whole thing, that whole thing came perfectly. That you sent those to me. That I waited. That it was, you know what I mean, and that
I get to go visit
you get
Alicia.
to go visit Alicia and deliver it in person. And
so thank you.
That was really amazing, Michelle. I've been wanting to share that for the longest time. And the interesting thing is that it's been sitting in there with, in my space, just waiting for my guidance to tell me when the right moment was. And this was clearly it. When I saw it this morning and I was like, oh, Bree, I forgot I didn't give this to you for Michelle. Because I've been wanting to give it to her for the last couple of days. And so
perfect timing.
It was absolutely just really perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Wow.
Wow. Thank
Jeez.
you.
And even the fact that it was created at an event, and we're talking about our first light language event, and I've never felt, there were so many moments this weekend that, maybe not so many, maybe that's not a good way to put it, but there were some very poignant moments when I've never felt so free.
Yeah.
Never.
Same here.
Never felt so free.
Well, this is who I am, and wow, I don't need to fit
and I don't need to pretend. I don't
box.
need to be anything I'm not,
right.
And I don't need to.
Sometimes we go in those situations and we're like, okay, I need to like me at the DMV. Oh my God, the DMV. I started laughing. My ID, I got like my first new driver's license renewal. Yay me. And they took the photo and it looks like in the photo, it looks like I'm about to bust out laughing. Like I'm about to laugh hysterically, and I'm like right about to, and he takes this photo, right? So this guy who's like obviously very angry and doesn't want to be working there, he's just like, he won't smile. And I'm like, man, I tell you, these ID photos are hilarious. And I showed it to him again, and he started laughing. Like, hey, I got somebody at the DMV to laugh.
That's a huge feat in itself.
Yay. So anyway.
Oh God, that was awesome. Angela said she felt it deeply, and Dave said very beautiful and touching.
Yeah.
Trinity Zinnias. Trinity is my second name, and for a while I didn't like it, and now I am embracing it.
Wow. You're what? Seriously?
Wow, your middle name is Trinity.
What are the odds of that? That's incredible.
This was so beautiful, Michelle, and I'm deeply thankful you sent it to me, and I'm happy to share it so everybody can see it and read it. It was really beautiful. And then you can see where each of the word capitalized and how she, because that actually adds to the energy of the entire thing.
Of course, it does.
And how you receive it and read it.
Speaking of capitalizing words, I was just reading, who posted about that? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember right now who posted about it, but I was basically reading somebody say, like, for instance, if you're going to be typing the word, I'll use a lighter example. How about the word government? And I mean lighter example, the word government. So if you type out the word government, if you type it with a lowercase g, the energy that you're emphasizing, the energy that's emitted from that word is different than if you capitalize the G.
Absolutely.
You're actually giving power to the words that you capitalize intentionally. And it's always through intention. If you're doing it, it's different if you just have if you're not making a choice. But if I'm going to capitalize the G in government because the government is all powerful. Yeah. Well, you're actually creating that. So it is a cool way to start to play with language and how we're writing and how we're communicating with each other and the things in which how we intend to send messages, I think, is going to continue to change over time. Technology has already changed a whole lot how we communicate, but now it's like, oh, wait a minute, maybe humanity and a lot of us got a little bit too carried away with the tech and not in the heart-to-heart connection. Yep. And exactly. Oh wait, there's another living, breathing human on the other side of this, with feelings, with thoughts, with beliefs, with emotions that are all sitting on the other end of the screen that are listening to what I'm saying. Sometimes we have to be more aware of that as a society. Yes. I even find myself, because if you're looking at just this little camera, it's like, I remember when Bree said to me, and I don't even remember what exactly we were working on. If it was something with the website, I think it was when we were developing the website. It could have been that. And I said, and she was asking questions about how I want to convey things and what's my mind and things like that. And I don't even remember if it was just that or if it was something else we were doing. And I said, the one thing I never lose sight of is that it's not about the quantity and it's not about the quality. And I don't care how many numbers are out there as far as, subscribers, that kind of thing. I said to Bree, I still want to see each and every one of these, number representations. I never want to lose sight that there is a soul on the other end who is receiving this information. It is not about clicks and numbers and likes. It's not about the likes and the numbers and the shares and the follows. Oh my God. When I talk in a video, I am remembering that I am speaking to your eyes, that your heart, you as the person, not as the, and I number. I always want to remember that, Yeah, I think Facebook and social media, and it's helped us. Well, because she, as a marketing person, how do you want to reach masses and millions? She's got to know, right? Do you want to reach the millions and the masses? She needs to know that. Nope, not my intention. That's not the intention. Yeah. So, because if we're marketing to
and when I say marketing, it simply means who is interested in this message. That's all I mean by marketing,
Right.
because she knows how I don't even like that word. I don't even like it.
That's
so
true.
I don't like anything about it. So, or even the idea of that, but to me, it's about how do we share the information? And unfortunately, that's the word we have right now for that. So,
It is.
so the question is, she's asking me, what is your goal? What's your goal? Do you want to reach millions, masses? And I said, no, I want to remember that each and every one of those is a soul. And then I want to reach into, so that's the theme, the energy, I guess, that I wanted to create overall. And so that's something that from the day I began this light language channel, you guys, if you're new to my channel, when I started this channel in January of 2015, it wasn't just about my putting up my videos. What I began doing the very first day I started it was, and I mean this, the day I started it, and from that moment forward, I was posting videos, but I was also compiling playlists. I began to compile playlists of all the light language people I'd seen, channelers. I started creating a playlist for all of this stuff for all of you guys. When somebody comes to my channel, I want them to go to my playlist and have a somewhat of an overall understanding of this was my journey. These were the people that helped me in my journey, and you could sit there all day and just watch all the playlists even. So
you can go to her playlist section, and she has tons of playlists.
And some of them are old because I don't add to them necessarily anymore because I've moved on. For example, the channelers I used to listen to, honestly, you guys, I really listen to very, very little anymore because I need to
keep
listen
your own
to
energy.
me.
Yeah.
I want to hear my messages now. I want to be confident. And this is what I've been telling Bree for a while. I cannot believe how many, all of us channelers are receiving, because we're all getting the same information. It's not this one, this one, this one, this one. No. The information we share, or I receive and share from the Sasani, the Shikani, Bashar, any of us who watch these videos, or any other channeler, because they're all amazing. And I've got lists of them all in there for you guys. So we begin to understand it's the same pool of information. It depends on what frequency and the kind of information you're interested in sharing.
Coming through different perspectives.
And if somebody were to go, if I was, say, somebody asked me a question, I may not necessarily care about the information. How many feet above the earth is this ship? I don't care. So I'm not necessarily going to be reaching for that information, or maybe that's not my job because somebody else is already doing that and channeling that. And, maybe that's not my job. So this is what we have to remember, that.
And then being okay with that.
Channeling isn't what we think it is, you guys. It's all of those subtle messages that we get every single moment when we go, oh, wait, oh, look at the clock. Oh, all this, every single synchronicity we had. That's all channeling your higher self going, oh, wait, look, message.
Like,
That's
what does
what
it
it's
mean
about.
to you in each moment? What does it mean to you?
And what it means to me and her are different. But then again, in that moment, because she said that about the cruise ship, it meant the same thing in that moment to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
We looked at each other like,
yeah. When that cruise ship started,
and it was
right after we talked about it. Like, okay, I get it.
It was like,
I see.
I get it.
I understand.
Because when we are having self-doubt, anything that's less than self-love, and we're energetically, our heart is asking for a validation to be reminded of that. Please tell me what I'm feeling about myself is not true. That this hateful, horrible thing that I'm thinking about myself right now isn't true. Even if we're not asking for that, by feeling bad about something, that we are saying that wasn't perfect the way that it was. How can I see this in a new perspective? How can I not hate myself? Or how can I see this creation in nothing but unconditional love? How do I do that? There's a cruise ship driving by going, yep, Bree, you are right exactly where you need to be no matter what happened 2 seconds ago. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday or the day before or 2 seconds ago. It doesn't matter. In that moment, we were both exactly in the frequency we needed to be in, because that is the frequency we decided in that moment. That is how easy this is. But I'm not saying it's easier for us humans to do. But this is what light language does. This is what light codes do. Sacred circuitry, being in nature, being in the water, believing. You cannot be it and live it if you do not believe it. It doesn't work. Aren't we magical? The words that we make up with language to remind ourselves, believe, be, and live. So
there's many examples like that. And speaking of sacred circuitry, sacred geometry music.
Hey!
Stefan.
Hey, Stefan, how are you?
He said, "Thank you, Wendy. I always think I say the wrong things. I needed it. Needed to hear that. So thanks, Stefan. I mean, it's really true. We spend all day long literally stomping on our own faces, like on a metaphoric or emotional or energetic sense. We just like, oh God, you did this wrong and you did that wrong. But then you find out that the crazy thing you said that you didn't mean to say ended up doing something amazing for somebody down the line.
Exactly. We don't know
how we're affecting each other's lives in the things that in the mistakes we think we're making. We don't know why until later. And sometimes we never know until we're done here, right? So yeah.
I wanted to comment too on Angela's message right here. Same message, different ways, said by many, so many different people. All it gets you to the same place in the end. And yes, that's exactly right. We all come in from a different reality. Like we talked about many times, a lot of us come to light languages and stuff from different perspectives. Some of it's from a darker side, sometimes, and
I came from the dark side. I crawled out of the shadows and I was like, oh wait, there's light out here? Oh my God.
And I wanted to kind of touch on something that I didn't get to touch on when we were talking about like how we feel about not hierarchy, but you're in this place and I need to get where you are because I'm not as high as you are in my ascension. And I'm not as good as you. One of the things that was very humbling that my guides had to show me one day was they said, all of this information that you're so passionate about sharing and all this information from through Bashar and all these other channelers. And, this is something that I wouldn't have necessarily, and I think I've shared this only with a couple of people, but it's not something I would have necessarily owned publicly, but I've shared it with Bree. We need to own the fact that, yes, I am deeply resonating and in teaching the information, say, for example, that comes through these other divine souls as well. And yes, it's exactly all the same information. It's just different layers and levels of it. But what my guide said to me one day, that because they kind of wanted to help me put myself in my perspective and remember to pat ourselves on the back a little bit and remember who we really are and our divinity. And they said to me, the reason why you're so absolutely passionate about sharing and teaching this information is because you were part of the team that taught it to them.
Ding, 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 ding.
And when you can put yourself in that situation and realize we really are always a fractal office is always partly the teacher and the student. And when I was like, it was so humbling yet confirming. And yet it's hard to own that. But when you see it, but then it was almost as if by me acknowledging it, you guys, this is how this happens. By believing it, you be and live it, because as soon as I acknowledged it, they let me see me teaching.
There you go. Because the logical mind will typically take something like that and say, no way.
Who am I to think? Who am I to think I was an angel teaching this higher information? But yet,
because the I is the we. And if everybody and everything is a parallel incarnation of you,
And we're all a parallel incarnation of the one source. And wow.
Really though, it's cool that because her story is what I'm going through now a lot, because I'm in this place where I can start to acknowledge. I can. Now I can. I couldn't before.
Couldn't before. None of us are really able. I shouldn't say none of us, but we as humans are just, it's trained out of us.
It can take us time to be like, no, I can do that. All right. Yeah.
Oh, and Michelle,
I can do it.
If you haven't seen it already too, speaking of playlists, Michelle's talking about we speak what we think, and what we think affects our DNA. Do the mirror work. Say I love you into my eyes. If I don't believe it at that moment, I start using silly voices and faces until I make myself laugh and feel well.
Love it.
And that's so great. And speaking of playlists,
play around, right?
I have a playlist on my channel, on my YouTube channel, that has all the videos I did of Bashar's 7-week self-love program. And every single day, that's what it is. You just look in the mirror, you say 3 things in the morning and 3 things in the afternoon, and each one is different for each day of the week. And it's reinforced 7 days a week, 7 weeks for 7 days. And after 49 days, it helps actually rewire our belief systems about ourselves. And I have a playlist out there I did a couple years ago. It's Bashar's self-love. I called it the 49-day self-challenge, I think. But it's based on instructions that he had given in one of his events that I happened to hear many, many years ago. And I scribbled it all down in my Bashar book and said, I heard the words, one day you will teach this. You will share this. You will teach this information. And so that's part of my process here is teaching that information. So I was guided to actually do the work and share not only my doing the work while I'm doing it, but having other people sharing it with me. So it is but it only takes a couple seconds in the morning and a couple seconds in the evening. But it's interesting how you'd be going about your day and you're like, how it is that we hesitate to even take a few seconds to look at ourselves in the mirror and tell ourselves, like, I love you, I'm supported, I am guided, I am fulfilled, and it's very interesting how difficult that is and how strange that is difficult. It is so weird. Even I found it weird that it was weird. Yeah. And so I wanted to share that in case anybody hasn't seen it. And it shows, and I actually have in the description the actual Bashar event that it came from, which you can actually go back and buy on bashar.org thing. So, and if I'll try to remember to share it in the description of this video too. So I'll give it to you guys, and I'll even give you if you want, I can give you the whole steps. But you can't just follow the steps. You have to listen, because you need to know, like, one day you have to do it with water, one day you have to do it with food, one day each one's different for each day of the week. So you really have to listen to the guidelines to do it, but it only takes a few seconds in the morning and a few seconds in the evening. So, but it is interesting how we will even deny ourselves a few seconds of that self-love in the morning and evening because, someone else's needs are more important than mine. My cat, my dog, this, that, I gotta go. My boss, this, that, bullshit. If you're not doing that first, well, then you got it all wrong. We are getting it all wrong. We're learning. If you don't do the self-nurturing first, the rest is just going to be shit. It just is. You've got to do I even said to Bree today, I said, it didn't occur to me till today. I have not had the opportunity to meditate in 7 days. I told her, I said, wow, I'm feeling it.
I am too.
If you don't have that self-nurturing time in that time, and that was part of the reason of the delay too, because of having to figure out all of this and where we get, in the software and this and that. I said, this is not normally how we would start when I would have had time to, focus and relax and get my head together. And so when we're out of our element and things like that, again, it's about meeting adversity and saying, this is more important. I really want to do this, sharing this day today, and to put myself in in a vibration of which to be able to do that. And despite the fact that, the everything else that's going on in our hearts and our heads and all that, and and then all the technology crap and trying to figure it out, and just saying, you know what, let's just do this. Let's just be ourselves, and we're just going to live stream and do what we, and because we just haven't had the opportunity to prepare the proper software to do this today. So it was either not do it at all or just do it this way and share with you a little bit of what we've been, experiencing, and just, see what you guys had to say and share some light languages and all that. And how we doing? Well, we're doing pretty good, actually. We're
an hour and 40 minutes in.
Yeah. So
Michelle said we can't love another until we love and accept ourselves fully. Yep.
You are
true that. She also said in toning work, I am tones your whole body. Check out Jonathan Goldman on YouTube. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Angela said less light language today too. Angela?
Well, I know. Well, shall we then? We talked about that earlier, that we should speak some more light language today. Even, you guys, even speaking light language today is emotional. It's the weirdest dang thing ever. It's the weirdest thing ever.
It's in the processing. It's important to set intentions and, right. So,
well, then I was telling Bree the other day too, that I got a fortune cookie many years ago, and I have it saved somewhere, I think still, but it said, meeting adversity is the source of your strength. And I've said this to Bree many times too, because I've been in that same situation, that oftentimes we create, oh, there you go. I completely forgot about it. We often create crisis for ourselves so that we can test our own strength. Because sometimes when we're maybe not following our passion, and we know we're not following it for all the wrong reasons, like what other people are going to think, why I can't succeed at it, why I can't be good enough at it, why my version of what this is not as good as someone else's version of the same thing. We have to remember there's tons of stores and doctors and lawyers and we all resonate with something and someone and something differently. And I have found myself, because of my lack of belief in myself, put things off that I really want to do, things that I'm very passionate about, for all the wrong reasons, because of all of those reasons that are not true about myself, that I'm thinking about myself. Therefore, I do not act upon those passionate things. Therefore, we are not solidifying our passion into this 3D reality. And action is the crystallization, is the manifestation. That is the solidification. And there was a couple things I wanted to say about that. And I was looking at this, all of a sudden I was looking at that we create circumstances for ourselves where all of a sudden now, because I don't have enough belief in myself to do it the calm way, and to just, what I'll do is all of us, we create circumstances for ourselves in which we create the exact crisis in order for us to step up to the plate, to show ourselves our own strength. And believe it or not, those are the Kleenexes.
I guess this is mirrored. Maybe it's backwards.
It might be mirrored.
It says summon your strength.
And these were the tissues that were handed out at the event.
I didn't know that, because I never got any of it.
And so Dave came home, and she saw.
That's cool.
Oh, you didn't know that these were the ones handed out till just now?
No, I didn't see any.
I thought you understood that. You're kidding me.
I thought you had that at your house the whole time.
Well, now doesn't it even mean more to you than it did before?
Does. Absolutely. The fact that it's the event
she didn't even realize that these were from the event when I had these laying here, because they were laying here and it said summon your strength. And so these were the handouts in the gift bag. And so that is funny too, how that was my fortune cookie said, meeting adversity is the source of your strength. And I had told Bree that recently too, that how many times we create crisis for ourselves in order for us to show ourselves how awesome we really are. That we didn't believe we could do it the normal, conscious, calm way. No, we have to create a crisis for ourselves first in order for us to show ourselves we can do it. I can do this. I can step up to the plate and I can do this. And summoning our strength is something that we think we're looking for a strength that give me strength. No. Reveal to me the strength that I already contain. You guys, we are not getting anything we don't already have. You got the strength. The Wizard of Oz all over again, my friends.
Very true.
You've got each and every one of those components already. We just don't see it. We don't see with the correct eyes. We don't think with the right hearts. We just don't. We filter it through negative belief systems for ourselves. And then we create a crisis, or we energetically create a situation or a crisis to show ourselves what we're made of. Why can't we show ourselves what we're made of by just being passionate and doing what we want to do and not giving a rat's ass what anyone else thinks? Why do we have to wait until we create a crisis to say, well, damn it, I can do that and I'm going to do it. And now I don't care what anybody thinks.
We're funny.
Why do we do these things?
Humans are funny.
Nasheli ko amasoto shelea na belea ko samashala koria sete. Ni Mario no me akalukoria shana teria na niatori kipagia shana kilakiato samate. It's time to come out of our shells. Jamotesha ikaya masala yesono yakayate. Zamotoshiati malaki samoshonate amarkushana say. And remember, it really is very soft and easy when you go with the water and not against it. Janadia, that's where the magic happens, when we don't resist, right? Janate, when we go with the flow. And Tashe. That is the magic. That's the message of the magic. Yashote. Giving up control is actually taking control. Yashote. Because it's saying, I know this mind doesn't have all the right answers because it's filtering through belief systems, but I know if I release it to my higher self, who does know what's best for me, then it's going to take me farther and faster than I could have ever done by me thinking I could figure all this out, or that I have to figure it out. The how, the when, the why, the who, the where. As Bashar has said a million times, your mind was not designed for that. It wasn't. It was designed to navigate and be your compass. That's it. To get you through the three-dimensional reality. That's all it is it's like a vessel. It's a way to navigate, but the real brain, the real connection is your higher self. You're always channeling your higher self, whether you believe it or not. So that really is there's so many more layers again that can come out of all of this that actually I don't even sure. I probably could not even begin to articulate right now. So
we have a question from Divine Pisces. This was earlier in the video. Okay. I think that Divine Pisces is still here watching, I hope. I
hope so.
So sorry about the delay, obviously. We had some things to talk about before we could even formulate anything.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay.
Saying, can I ask a question? Will my mom's Section 8 inspection
pass on both sides? See, those are the kinds of questions that it's hard for me to answer something like that, because in my belief systems, it's difficult for me to predict one thing over another, because I believe that all possibilities are possible depending upon, for example, well, that just gets into whether or not one is better than another. You know what I mean? One answer is better than another. For example, if I were to say,
in the judgment of right and wrong.
Exactly. Like if I were to say, if I were to feel, yes, she's going to get it, then that would put in a belief system that if it doesn't happen, that's the wrong thing to happen. Does that make sense? In other words,
well, I think what you're talking about is predictions are not always the most helpful.
right, exactly, because
for humanity in general, for the logical mind. However, sometimes predictions have to happen a certain way to set
something in motion. So isn't that an interesting thing that you're even asking in the question? Because I've never really had a prediction type of a question, because I've always felt like there were so many possibilities, and yes, some are maybe more energetically possible than others because of all the current belief systems of all involved. And then there's that, if a person says yes to the person, does that give them false hope? Does that set a vibration for the person to believe it, which then manifests it? See, I don't have the answer. I'm asking you guys what you think about that, because but then if a person says, well, no, I don't really see. So those are the kind of questions that honestly I'm always hesitant to answer, because
well, then perhaps it's not the exact question that you need to answer.
Right.
It's more about the situation of how to look at circumstances, such as there's somebody I know who's going through an operation. I'm afraid that it might go wrong. I'm afraid that something might go wrong. And putting the worry out there, putting any
vibrational,
basically, if you're worrying about it going bad, you're fueling it going bad. You're fueling that, right? So that's very distracting.
Oh, sorry.
Because it's on.
I wasn't running it.
No, it's okay. No audio. That's good. Like if we would have sat on that plane and listened to that pilot, and if we would have sunk ourselves into imagining and visualizing and stepping further into the reality of, oh God, there's horrible thunderstorms that are right as we're going to be landing. It's going to be a horrible plane flight. We might get delayed in the sky. We might be circling for 2 hours. We might miss our whole meet and greet that we're going to. If we would have continued to step in that direction of that reality, we probably would have experienced thunderstorms on the plane flight, possibly a delayed flight, bumpy ride, lots of turbulence. All of this is something I think we're all learning together. These are ideas, right? These are tools that I've personally used and Wendy's personally used in our own lives to be able to more gracefully move forward and roll with the punches, as they say. And like, okay, maybe I can intentionally create my reality. So why don't I start with the fun, nice, easy, simple stuff? I intend to see orange cars when I'm driving today, and then you'll see lots of orange cars. Right. So when you're dealing with something that's very serious, and especially if it has to do with medical problems with loved ones, your intention.
Well, this isn't a medical. This Section 8 is something else. I know what it is, but I understand what he's saying.
Oh, I fully misunderstood.
No, it's
that.
okay. It's okay. I understand what that is.
It's
a particular type of housing.
I see.
Yes,
I see.
So that's what I just want to mention that, just in case you misunderstood.
No, I did.
Okay,
I fully misunderstood.
Okay. But it doesn't matter the subject.
Because it says pass, and I was.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So
yeah. Same thing then.
It doesn't really matter. It's
even
the
if
idea
it's not
of
medical.
So it's more of the idea of seeing it already as the reality, and because worry implies doubt that things are not supposed to happen in a particular way. It's seeing the person happy, where they're comfortable, where they want to be living. It's not about, oh, will this thing happen and will this pass? Because that puts a lot of limitations on restrictions on what can happen. Because what we really want ultimately is to ask, I want my mom, for example, in this particular case, are they going to be financially okay? Are they going to be able to be seeing that person happy, stable, comfortable because it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in this particular spot. So that's where we have to be careful of, oh, well, if this doesn't pass, that means something really bad. Not necessarily, because maybe the not passing was what's necessary, like the plane.
Like us missing our flight.
Me needing to be on that next flight. And I told her immediately, guess we needed to be on that flight for some reason. And we're going to find out. And like she said, we may never know. I think it was pretty obvious why. That woman was in distress, pure distress. So these are the things where we say, if this doesn't work, then that's a bad thing. But what we need to see is the person in the situation they prefer to be, and then let the universe take care of the house. Because as we find out, sometimes the other way is way better.
And that's in your reality as your experience. You're visualizing the version of them that's doing the things you're excited to see them doing, because it's them living happily, it's them living comfortably. By you visualizing that, you're more anchoring in that reality.
Exactly.
Instead of the worrying, oh God. And if it doesn't happen, let's list all the reasons why it's going to be so terrible. And then this is going to happen. And you're further sinking yourself into that hole of that timeline of that reality.
And it takes us out of the present.
Oh,
completely takes us out of the present. Because we are so damn worried about what's going to happen or not going to happen or blah, blah, blah. We completely lose this moment.
It's the now thief.
Oh, that's really good.
Futuring and pasting is a now thief.
We should coin that, dude. Futuring and pasting is a now thief. You heard it here first, folks. On Wednesdays with Wendy and me.
It really helps though, because I've been like, we're always, oh, what am I going to eat for dinner? What am I going to do tomorrow? It's like, how am I feeling? Look, I need to look around myself for a second, because none of that matters if I'm sitting here and trying to do something and all of a sudden the mind.
Because then if all of these amazing things happen in this now, all the things we just were trying to figure out before are all going to they're all going to go there a different way anyway. What is the damn point? I'm not saying don't make plans, but you got to make plans to be able to alter the plans.
So this is where it gets sticky, and that's why talking about this, like, I don't feel like I'm even in the right frame of mind
to have
this type of conversation, right? So then, because I haven't gotten this far, Michelle Kidd says, we have to realize that our loved ones may want something different for themselves than what we want. Of course, we all have our own free will. Of course, we're all here on our own separate journeys. However, we are also experiencing versions of other people based off of our own vibration. And that is specifically what I'm talking about here. I am certainly not talking about my own will changing somebody else's reality.
No, not at all. It's just that we do have to realize that if we want something for someone really bad, and somebody else has orchestrated something in their life that they want to create, if they want to experience something different, what we want
on a
them,
conscious or subconscious level.
Either way, say
that's the same.
And it could even be, let's go back to your medical thing for just a second. Let's just say that somebody gets sick, and whether or not they recover or transition, we may want them to recover, but maybe they are ready to transition. We don't get necessarily to choose that, even though, yes, we can create a reality, like I did in my own mom's situation. I created a reality in which I saw her healthy and recovered. The difference was, so did she, and that's what she wanted.
The healing.
That's the difference. Where now, if she would have said to me, or got sick,
and
or whatever, and she
heal.
Believed that I'm ready to go, this is my time, guys, it wouldn't matter what I do. It's what she wants to experience, not me. So we can share, if two people, for example, are sharing that same wanting, and they're on the same vibration, then yes, we would have that same experience. But if they're not, it will not. It cannot, because we don't get to choose that for another person. And I don't think I'd want to. I really don't want that. We all have our own exit points too, and we get to decide at each of these exit points, like I even said that to you, I think, when you had your accident in the car, and I even said to her, I said, that was an exit point that you got to decide whether or not you wanted to hang around a little longer and do this work. Like I felt it, like it was an energetic in that moment choice. But this gets there's so many layers to this, you guys, to be honest with you, I can't tell you I know how it all works, because I sure as heck do not. All I can do is share what I've learned or heard, experienced, or got downloaded and try to articulate it. But absolutely, there's no way that we can sit and say, yes, this is exactly the way it is, and this is how it works, and that, because I cannot say that, not at all.
So going back to Divine Pisces' question, will
she pass? That's one of those things that how do you even answer something like that? I mean, maybe other mediums and psychics would say, oh yes, I feel like she's going to pass. And this is something I've talked to Bree about a lot, that's never been something that's been comfortable for me to answer, like that kind of a yes or no, or will this or will not, because my belief systems won't, I think, allow me to give just a one or an answer one way or the other, because I don't believe that there's only one answer.
Because there's not. There's always free will. And there's many different timelines and many different realities. However, sometimes there will be a specific way that we know for ourselves it's going to go. Sometimes we feel it. I guess in this case,
yeah. So I mean, it's something that I really can't honestly say that I can answer, and I don't.
And that's okay.
And yeah, it's one of those things where, yes, I can say, well, yeah, I do get a feeling, and there's some synchronicities, all the 8s that you and I have had recently, all the 8s.
Oh my God, so many 8s.
And this being the 8th month.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And this being that it's section 8. I mean, maybe that's part of the synchronicity of the 8s this month, for me to say, well, maybe because we're having all these synchronicities, maybe the answer to your question is potentially absolutely, because right now I'm thinking about all the 8 synchronicities that you and I had all this week. The weekend, 8s and 888 and 8. So
17
and being yes, and the 17th, which equals 8. And so maybe very well that this could be part of the reason why we're here today, is because we're in an 8 vibration, and maybe this was part of the question. And so maybe, again, it's still all about accepting the circumstance regardless, and knowing that no matter what happens, it's the right thing for that person, even if we don't see that. And I think that's really more of the message than just saying, yes, I think it's going to happen. So that's just my feeling about actually giving people those kinds of questions, because that's never been kind of my goal, is to be that type of a medium, kind of, to, oh, do you feel this, or get that kind of a feeling. I share what I get, but that's not always, necessarily
that's why
the answer.
That's why we're all built differently, to be able to do.
And
different
yes,
types of
8
things.
is the infinity sign, and I actually wear an infinity ring.
Oh my gosh, I forgot I was wearing this.
You have
my friend Sarah made this.
Oh yeah.
And it has the infinity. Oops, you can see it.
So we've got a lot of infinity symbols today.
It's very sweet of her to make this.
And so
lots to say about my sweet friend Sarah.
Being that this is the eighth month, and all of these 8s, then maybe that's a sign of the vibration, that if you put yourself in the vibration of the number 8, I'm just sharing with you what I'm getting right now, that if you put yourself in the vibration of the number 8, and you see your mother as being where she wants to be, not necessarily this place, but if you see herself being excited, happy, comfortable, calm, supported, That's what you need to stay in that vibration to help create that reality. And if she shares that, and that's part of her path, then that is absolutely what will happen. Because you, by remaining in that vibration, just thinking about number 8s and just thinking about today, just by you being in that vibration, you carry that vibration with you. And if you're even around her physically or not, it doesn't matter. You're creating that vibration to actually crystallize that as a reality. And seeing it is the most important thing. And it doesn't have to be in that particular place. What we want to see is the vibration of her being happy, and what she, and that's the this is what we need to do when we ask ourselves, what do I need to be happy? Sometimes we try to squeeze it in a box and say it's got to be this place, this house, this person, this, that, this date. And then we completely miss it all.
Focusing on what is for everybody's highest good. And Clear Blue Jay said the person's oversoul would be who to ask, and the
Right.
higher self, oversoul. So I fully agree with that.
And hey, Blue Jay.
Hi, Clear Blue Jay.
Hey, Clear Blue Jay.
Yeah, Michelle Kidd. I thank you, Michelle. What your question sparked in me is how do I word this? Awakening to multidimensionality is a little confusing for the logical mind.
It is.
And the linear, logical everything that we come here with. And so I found myself recently wanting to say things certain ways, and I know Wendy's, I'm starting to more see how difficult it can be sometimes to explain these things, because when there's this timeline and that reality and this and that and the Mandela effect and the timelines are shifting and it's a lot, right? So by you typing that, Michelle, about the other people, it's like that's a whole nother aspect. It's one thing to talk about your own personal reality, but then how does the co-creation of the, and so Michelle, there's like a lot.
Well, it's like the difference between how each of us is having like an individual experience, but collectively as a human race, we're all having like the same experience. It's just so many layers that it actually sometimes like it totally gives me a headache. Like I told Bree like an hour or two before we started, I'm like, I have got to get rid of this headache. Like I'm like, and I don't get headaches like ever. But today I'm just like, what is up with this headache? I'm just like,
lots of energy,
So it's just, I think, processing. And I really think, and you guys, the thing is that she and I are still processing. We're like, I'm talking about our own like codes and bodies and things are like still, and then because we're sharing all the energy with all these other people, and so she and I
almost didn't do this today.
I'm like, are you sure? Should we do this? Should we not? Are you sure? And then when we couldn't get the software, and I'm like, are you sure? Should we really? Should we just?
But we're here. So
but
we're a little over 2 hours, so we should
wrap up.
Start to wrap
Plus,
up.
we're gonna.
Thank you, Angela. You said
guys are so great.
Angela said you're a great teacher, Bree. Explain it well, usually with laughter, and I think that's for both of us. We want to be real with you guys, and sometimes we have to laugh even at the disgusting, not so funny things. Make it funny because otherwise it's too much. Up here, shell time, Michelle Potcher. I love it. Michelle said, my cat Donnie has been on an adventure for 3 months and hasn't returned home. I think hasn't something home into his hiking fun. I think there was a typo. Any advice from anyone? I believe he is sowing his oats and doesn't recognize home due to summer. He's a little over a year old. Oh my gosh,
summer,
really young.
Summer vibes. The hat.
My hat. Yeah.
We didn't even tell him about manifesting the hat.
We didn't, but right now she's saying that her cat has been missing for 3 months.
Oh, 3 months.
Her cat is a little over 1 year.
He's sowing his oats and doesn't recognize home due to summer. He's 1.5 years old. Okay. Well, funny too, because of course the first person I thought of was Jacqueline.
I did too. Yeah, Jacqueline Smith is she's
well, we
our
have a friend, Jacqueline Smith, and she is an animal communicator. One of the things she actually does, as part of her services, is she actually helps people locate their animals psychically. And we're happy to give you her information. That's something that I don't really do, is be able to locate, locating lost pets and things. But
so Jacqueline has been for over 40 years and a professional animal communicator. And yeah, she locates lost pets, English. She connects to them, just like Wendy was saying, and they will show her, they'll show her an image of being in front of a yellow house and then it can help. So, I will type her website here. It's JacquelineSmith.com. She does emergency services.
mm-hmm.
And it's always, oh my God, some of the stories she tells me just blow my mind.
So, I mean, she would probably be the man. That's maybe why you came here today too, because maybe we're just, instead of me doing it, connecting with you, so that maybe she can facilitate finding him. So, because she's way, way better trained at that than I am.
She is incredible.
Just something that I'm not even trained, just something that she's gifted with, that she's been able to do for a very long time.
Yeah. She also we just got her light language store up running on her website. So
yeah,
that's really exciting. So now all of her, or many of her light language art and cosmic portraits are posted on her website, JacquelineSmith.com.
And you guys, this is just an example of what we were talking about earlier about me starting up the playlist. It doesn't matter if I give you the answer, but maybe if she gives it. But this is why you came here, because your guide said there's someone who has the answer. So you're connecting with the people who have the answers. And as we've talked about a lot this weekend, it's not about, a lot of times we have passion about something and we want to do it, but we don't know how to do it, like technology and stuff. And so we just don't do it because we think we have to do it alone, or that there are people out there to help you. You can trade services if it's not about money. If you don't know, I don't ever want the money to pay somebody then put it out there. Does anybody want to trade for anything? Does anybody want, gifts and abilities are something that we that are not taken away from. We can't take our own gifts and abilities away from each other, away from ourselves. We can share them. And so it's not about money. Abundance, we have learned in so many ways, comes in so many ways. And we often will be paralyzed about doing our passion because there's elements of it we absolutely hate. Like I absolutely hate accounting. I hate taking care of bills. I don't like any of it. Me
neither.
She's like, yeah, me neither. It's just not, that falls in my NOFUN category.
NOFUN. Yeah.
So
any of that.
I just don't like doing it. And same thing with advertising, marketing, all that stuff. It was like, it's just not my thing. It's just not something but I want people to know where I am and who I am, but I don't want to do the work, that kind of parts of it. It just doesn't interest me. So, of course, like I've mentioned before, and then I put it out there energetically saying, well, maybe if I'm supposed to do this for other people, and the people will come along to help me do that. And there we are. So here we are. And so that's going to happen with all of us. And the same thing with doing these events or anything. Each and every one of us are facilitating each and every one of each other's dream. We're helping each other live our dreams. And really, our dreams really are. Our lives are our dreams coming true. And when we first got there, and we were, it was the first day I think we went out on the beach, and she didn't bring a sun hat, so I lent her mine because I had a couple baseball caps, and she's like, "Oh, I've been wanting a hat like this. I've been wanting one. I've been, blah blah blah."
I don't wear hats.
She's like, "I don't really have any
unless it's the winter and it's really cold. I don't wear hats."
And I have tons, but
I've been wanting one. And then when we were in the airport leaving, I saw a sun hat sitting on one of the
It was a
caution
an art
signs.
display, I think
Nope,
it was.
in the
Okay.
caution on the caution side in the bathroom, and I was like, well, I'm not going to take that because obviously somebody left their hat there in the bathroom. You know, they're probably going to come back and get it. Well, we walked over by a beautiful display of, it was like a 3D installation of clouds.
It's cool. It's called Cloudscape.
Yeah, it's called Cloudscape by a really cool artist, what was his name? Vulcan. So it was called Cloudscape, and it's very hard to see. And so this was the display. It's like a bunch of clouds, and you can walk around and walk. They're very, very
tall. I mean, you can look through them, and you can't climb on them, or sit on them, but you can look through them.
Look at Wendy. We'll be posting these photos. You're hilarious. So we were like hiding in the clouds together. And so, there was, right when I walked up there was a summer,
a summer hat. Like a sun hat, and it said summer vibes, and
it was sitting so we were right like, there in the middle around, of the carpet.
Nobody around.
Well, as soon as I saw it, because sometimes you know when you have put things in your path for yourself, it's like a feeling.
I forgot about that.
And I had this feeling like I put this here. Like I put this hat here. Myself. Which is weird because, again, there was the hat in the bathroom. I'm not going to take some person's hat in the... I mean, like, that's... No. They could come back easily and go... And the same thing had happened to a lady when I went to a retreat last year. She was really wanting a specific type of jewel, and she ended up manifesting it on a plane ride. It was sitting right next to her on the seat, and it was like the exact type of jewel, and she picked it up, and she knew she made it for herself from the future, essentially, or, you know, well, there is no future, but she manifested it for herself in that moment to show her she is creating her reality. What she wanted is now there with her. And then she went into the whole, oh, but I should give this to the plane for the people because somebody might come back
and ask for it. Yeah.
And there's all of that as well. If how multidimensionally, I don't know how to even go into that. I don't know how to go. See, this is the time. It's like I can't.
We can't process. You know,
do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
There's a difference. It's a difference of feeling.
Yes.
Once you begin awakening,
like, you know, whether you're supposed to have it or if you're supposed to turn it in, or if somebody else is supposed to have it,
given to
someone else. Like I was the person who was supposed to facilitate giving it to to the lost and found or whatever.
Because it's
okay. Like my book,
like your book,
like my symbols book. Okay, I was writing symbols in a book at the event, and I left it in the room to do more for some other people, personal symbols. When we came back to the room, the book was gone. The room was cleaned out. None of our stuff was there, and we didn't know where the book was. And then right up until the time we left, we didn't know where it was. We talked to the gal and never did locate it. And I said, and it was just a couple pages of symbols, but the whole book was blank, brand new book. And I said, well, all of a sudden it was like I heard in my head, someone's supposed to see those symbols. Whoever finds the book, whoever picks up that sketchbook, and it was a brand new sketchbook, someone was supposed to see those symbols to get activated. And Bree's like, yeah.
And I felt it too.
She knew right away.
Because I thought it was blank. So that goes back to, okay, so you could go into, oh my God, I forgot my notebook. I can't believe I forgot it. How could I forget such a thing? I'm forgetting this and that. It could become, we can make these things, the way in which the universe rolls all of this out, right? The way that the play and the plot goes, we could use it as an excuse to judge ourselves, to judge other people, to judge situations, to judge and judge and judge, which is only weighing on us. Or seeing what the guidance you were given. Okay, instead of, oh my God, I forgot it. Wow, somebody needed to see those symbols, and that's the only way they could is by accidentally finding it.
That was the only thing. It was the first message that
And-
came to me is they had no other way of seeing those symbols by you leaving them by accident, because they would not have been.
Yeah.
What happened to you? Do you remember my quilt? The velvet quilt that.
Yeah.
The moment I received this quilt that belonged to my grandmother. She didn't make it. She came across it, as far as I know, because it was after she died. So I don't really know the story at all. Many years after she died, it just came out of literally was in a closet, came out, and my stepmother said, "Would you like this quilt?" I cannot tell you what happened to me that day, you guys, but I have manifested. Well, first of all, when I first saw it, I was first waking up. I had first found Bashar. I was receiving all these messages. The moment I opened the quilt, I heard it in my head. I saw it. I felt it, and I cried. That's what they said. I made that quilt for me. Yet I could never make those stitches in this 3D reality that were on that. And I knew the moment I held it and touched it that this was very magical, and this was something I had left for myself. And
it's the same
to
for
manifest.
the table that you painted.
yes,
That hexagon, was it hexagon?
I think it's a hexagon. Yeah.
Hexagonal table that she painted with the exact colors and symbols that after I created the website, we went back and looked at the photo and we're like, wait a minute.
She's like, "How do you like these color schemes?"
You
I'm
painted
like,
this
"Oh
years ago.
my God.
Decades ago.
Years ago." And I have used that quilt as a manifestation tool multiple times, because it's a beautiful quilt, but it has hand embroidered stories. Each thing is a little story. And I know I left these stories for me. And I'm telling you, I can't wait to show you guys again. My studio's not done yet, and I'm going to hang that quilt, and so I can show you. The one day when I was getting ready to decided to get a dog after I retired, I laid the quilt on the chair. I just said, and this was before I was doing languages. I was learning feng shui at the time. I was learning how to do feng shui stuff and setting intentions. And so I laid it on the chair, said I'd like to set the intention to bring the perfect dog for me. I had an antique picture of a dog that was a German short-haired pointer. She looked just like the dog we used to have.
Oh.
So I used that as my permission slip, because she was such a beautiful dog, and she made her transition very young. We only had her for 2 years.
Mm.
And it was, yeah. So, but she taught me a lot of things, and
Okay.
she taught me how to love Ranger.
Yeah.
She did. She taught me how to train him and love him, because remember we talked about the way I was learned to train dogs back then, we would consider pretty abusive now, because that's all we knew. That's all we knew at the time. And
yeah,
so
old school.
it was my way of feeling like I could make it up to him. Anyway, so I hung the picture on the wall of it wasn't her picture, but it was an antique picture that looked just like her. And I said, "Please bring me the perfect dog for me." And it wasn't 2 days later. I'm not kidding you guys. It was and here he is, and he's 8. He's going to be 8 years old next month.
Wow.
And he has been with me since before all this started. And really, to end this, it all started when I was walking outside in nature before I quit work, and was walking every day at lunch. But me being with Ranger in the woods and in the farm fields helped me connect with light languages and the people and channeling and the emissaries of the Light Collective. And everything I do today is because of him and me being in that farm field and practicing unconditional love in levels that I never understood. I never even knew I wasn't. Well, yeah, I guess I did, but it helped me connect to things that I didn't understand: trees, collectives, animals, Gaia, the water. It helped me hear things and see things It helped me see my world from so many new lights. Pun intended. So yeah, gosh. Woo, well, with that said, yeah, we went way longer than we thought we would today. I said, gee, I don't know how much energy I'm going to have, but you know me, you guys, I turn on the camera and there we go.
Well, I think, it's already been little over 2 hours,
So
almost
we
2.5 hours. So
yeah, we're gonna go get some nourishment and sit outside and ground and
yeah.
enjoy the beauty here.
I'm
And
gonna drink some coffee. I'm looking forward to that. My stomach was acting pretty funny before
are
the
you
event.
feeling better now?
I am feeling better.
Good.
Yep, ate some food. So why don't we provide?
Yeah, let's do some light languages to say good day.
Light
To say
language
good day. Angela said that was fun. Thanks, guys. I'm so happy that you guys are here, and I really appreciate you being with us today and sharing your heart, your love. And again, I wanted to thank each and every one of you who sent us good wishes before the event, who were cheering us on, sending me messages throughout the whole thing. Your love, your support. How's it going? Can't wait to hear about it at the end. Those of you that we met and touched and hugged, and there are no words. There are no words, and except these. So if you'd like to start us off, Bree, and then I think we'll end the blessing there. And
Sure.
Thank you all, and we hope to see you again next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Technology permitting, we hope
Yeah.
to be able to also have you in the hangout. So that's our hope. So
Yep. Next week it should be open again.
Thanks for waiting for us today, guys.
Yeah,
I love
thank
you.
you.
And I see the number 11 there, and today, so lots of 11s.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Well, really quickly before we do the blessings
yes.
and close out, Zinnia, I think it was Zinnia earlier, had asked, when is our next event? So Zinnia, we are not sure yet. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for. I think for right now we're going to be focusing on online events, as everything is kind of getting rebuilt and restructured.
Just
and
figured out what
we're
and where,
moving
and where and how and all that, and where,
Mhm.
how we want to, and it's putting an event together of this caliber is an amazing feat. That's all I will say. And there is no way it would have happened without any of us, and especially without this one. From a technology standpoint, it never would have happened. So, and I wanted to thank all of you out there too, who also created that because of your technology and your know-how. You guys made it possible for her to do what she needed to do to make sure that event happened, that it was live streamed, and that all of it. So
Dave and Will and other people,
everybody. It was such a beautiful co-creation.
Guys.
All of you who stepped up to the plate at the last minute and made it happen. You guys do have no idea. So how, all of you have no idea how, what we created, what we were up against, and how we met that adversity, and how all of each and every single one of you that were there helped step up to the plate, whether you were there or not, energetically, your love, your support, every bit of it. You guys have no idea how much that meant to us, every one of you. So I just needed to say that because it was a huge endeavor and huge, and I hesitate to even say challenge, but it had its challenging moments.
It did.
But yet it felt like the most natural, the right thing that we were supposed to do.
Yeah, it felt right. And that's how am I supposed to be doing this? If you feel excited, right, if it feels right, then do it. And sometimes it's like, it doesn't make sense as to why I'm being guided to do this thing. It'll take you there. These are always stepping stones. So Angela said you did great. Thanks, Angela. She said she carried me around all day. Thanks, she did. Angela's looking a lot. It was very funny.
It was very important for us to make sure that we could bring that to you. So such is the crazy videography that it was, and having to carry you from room to room.
There were a few rooms
we got put into. Yeah, so we had to. So anyway, but so let these blessings just be you guys to be vulnerable, be real, be yourself, and love who you are, even all your quirks and proverbial scars. you know, metaphorically and physically speaking, whatever. It's like, I just want to be loved for who I am. And I think that that's really what we all are doing here, is that's all we really want. And I love you guys for all that you are and all that you do. And just being you is what helps me be me. And so I want these blessings I want you guys to do it scared. Just do it. Believe me, we did it really scared. it was nothing we've ever done before. And well, not this way. She's put together events before, and if it wasn't for that synchronicity, this event probably wouldn't have happened, because she wouldn't have had that experience for me to say, hey, I know somebody who is pretty good at putting events together. So
It's all magic.
it's all magical. So I want these blessings to be that for you guys, to be your push to get out of your shell and, you know, find your magic and believe in it. Yes, okay.
Want ia auk ia se ia ant yo ot ont ia ant o kyota ar shanta ar at ayant at kisishision tiosio show ni hi yanni yaso shohuani Kiyoso ho hana yakara ana ai ni yosho ane ia ara ane yanta ara antio eshe aya aunt o aya esh ante aso o ante ea ak o eshe hana ai int ea aur o ana aya ant o on en is te ara asi anota o es enia ki yes et is yes onota to shke se enia ti yet is yes ti ya au she he haya o a ane saute sho u aure antau ke shantia aute also nto oe nte ise nte ia ant au ia oto o ia she Naunt ro es enea asis o no te she aniat oso otor oshonto osas enea tes ia neti kia antes iat endis isios o how shene how shan hea how hokohoa how hohia so ho enea yoto sha ea oro ote sana oto shaki ia au esen etios o ai ia haunto hoese ho ante osho o ahai iana ausa.
That was probably the most powerful message I have ever heard come through you. And you gave me some real visions about a lot of things.
Like what?
You took me to a lot of places that you were reviewing a whole lot of things, and how much you have learned, and how you will handle things moving forward. I saw, okay, what I saw was the other reality. And I know what I saw was the other reality.
Yeah.
And
I feel that.
That's what you were showing me. And it was like every little step, what you learned from each one, what you did, from each one, how it was handled, how you would do it differently, what you learned, and what you gained at the very end of it all. And the very last thing I saw was the cruise ship.
Wow.
In my vision. So it was like you took me through the whole thing. And I wanted to say to you guys too, us perfectionists, someone, Dave, I have to say thank you, Dave, for allowing me to see the entire event through your eyes. That was the most precious gift I could have ever received, because for everything that we thought didn't go the way we wanted, I got to see what it was like from your eyes and your point of view and everybody else in the room's perspective. And that was invaluable for me because it just was invaluable for me on every level. And I know I already told you, but I wanted to tell you again because it's important for someone to hear today that we need to sometimes step away and see ourselves the way someone else sees us, because we don't always see our own magic or our own abilities, our own gifts, and the impact that they have on our lives together.
Yeah, and sometimes we also don't share the impact
And we don't share the impact
other people have on us until later, because sometimes we don't even realize until later.
Right.
Or we don't feel comfortable. We're shy.
Or we're shy. We don't want to say, But it was.
Oh, Dave said, my pleasure.
So it was absolutely incredible. It was it saved my I don't know. It just it healed my soul in so many ways.
Your perfect soul. Healing your perfect soul.
So thank you for that. So yeah, guys, just be you for me. Yakosa nashala usa. Nabujana tiliki asana seta ila kosamalo or koshana seta ilikia. And thanks to all of you for being you. Imosota liyashana se ikashana sela. Amo ontayashana liyamalakote manaki ama osonoteleki. And don't be afraid to be you, because that you have to also be afraid for that you to let it change and let it evolve. Let Yoshonoteya, Boshonoteya Kiasa, because who we are is not who we are in every moment, it's who we are in this moment, and allowing that to evolve and change. Lozumocha Ilasanasele Kia Namala Alaki, Ambokosanasele Simara Ora Kishanasalaki Kia, Mazeno Tula Imalakoseme Esho. And our strength really is in our vulnerability, in our openness, our softness. And so often it's true that your strength is my gentleness. My gentleness is your strength. And so often we need to be gentle with each other and ourselves in order to see each other's strengths reveal in the mirror the strengths of each other. Na ulaki sanasheliki. Ezonoteri sanasele isa sanoto. Emosholianaki azanachea. And once again, the light within me illuminates the light within you, and the light within you illuminates the light within me. And together we illuminate brighter the light of all that is. Inashiaikia sanasela zomotea. And the most beautiful gift at all is to show another their light when they've forgotten how brilliant and beautiful and stunning they actually are. Najayata samase makiala ashanate kazanase piatoshe mahala namaste kyashami. It has been an honor and divine blessing once again. And we do invite you to join us this Wednesday, every Wednesday, and we'll keep you posted on the tech end of it all. And thank you for joining us. And if there's anything that Bree and I can assist you with us, please do contact us through languagesoflights.com. And we're always listening, always looking, always watching for all of you and your comments, your sharings, your questions, anything that we can do to help you. Please do reach out to us. We're here. There's a contact page on my website, and you can reach us both through there for the time being. And if you need to get through to Bree, we'll make sure that happens, and vice versa. So thank you all for being here once again, and our honor for everything that we've experienced and to share it, just a little bit of it even with you today. Thank you. Mahalo namaste. Bye. Hold on.